So usually when a dancer receives their pointe shoes, there's a lot of things that they have to do to them. It really depends on the dancer. A lot of people don't do that much to their shoes. A lot of people do a lot to their shoes. I thought I could show you a few of the things that I do to my pointe shoes to make them perfect for my feet. So let's get started. So the first thing I'd like to show you is what I call the nip and tuck. I do this because it's always better to have more of your foot showing in the shoe, so when the side is too high, it kind of covers your arch. So what I do is I sew down a little bit of the inside so you can see more of the foot, and when you point, it looks better. So I usually take a kind of thicker thread because it has to be a little bit sturdier. And this is the left shoe. This would be the inside of the shoe. I fold the pointe shoe like this, and you can see this is where the box ends. So I fold it just there, and I make a straight line to the end of almost the heel here. I just start sewing, holding it with one hand, going from this side through the other. So I just continue going all the way down the shoe, and when you get to the seam, I usually just skip over it and kind of try to sew that stitch as close to it as possible. And usually I just do 1/4 centimeter. If you think that it's like double fabric, that means it takes away about 1/2 centimeter of fabric, and that is quite a lot actually to take away on a pair of pointe shoes. So I would start with that and see if you want to take away more, but for me that's just enough, and I just keep going all the way down to the heel of the shoe. So once I get to the heel, it's pretty close to the seam here, I just push the needle through so that the thread goes to the other side of the fabric. And then I just tie a double knot. I usually like to do it on the outside just because it's sometimes uncomfortable to have like a huge knot in the back of your shoe, and also it can give you blisters and stuff. To do the outside of the shoe, I do it slightly differently, mainly just because I like the way it looks more, and also it's easier to tell which shoe is which when you have to put them on like really quickly. So for the inside of the shoe we did it diagonally, but for the outside of the shoe I normally like to keep the sewing just at the top next to where this drawstring is. Basically we do the same thing, except we just pinch the top of the shoe instead of going down in a diagonal. I start the same until I get here to the seam. Then I roll the fabric up until I get it like this, and I hold it with one hand and just continue on like before, sewing from the inside to the outside all the way back to the heel again. So once I'm about 1 centimeter from this heel, I tie the knot on the outside of the shoe, double knot, and that's it. This is now the outside of the shoe, and that is the inside of the shoe. You can see that this is already much smaller than before, and when you put it on, you will see the arch of the foot much more. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you learned something new. Let me know if you try the nip and tuck and how it works for you, and let me know if there's anything else you would want to see. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next time. Bye!